Hi, I want to tell you about some updates to this block breaker program or this BrickBreaker program. This is what it looks like so far. And we have a ball bouncing off the mouse, off the paddle, I mean. It would be nice to have it change direction when it hits the ends of the paddle, but that's not working yet. And when it goes off the screen, the ball restarts on the mouse and changes color. And that's basically it. So how this is working so far, for just a quick review, we have the ball and we have the paddle and our blocks. Those are the three main variables. We do initialization, and then we play the game, and that's going to send back a true or false if we've won or not. And then this ends up the game here, saying whether we win or we lose. Initialization enables the mouse moving and the mouse clicking. Sets up the number of lives. At one point in the past, we were using this to see if we were playing or not, but I got rid of it. There's a method to put the ball on the paddle, and then we make the blocks. Making the blocks is exactly what we have done before, and that is just moved to a new method. Playing the game is our main game loop. You start the game either by clicking the mouse or pressing the space bar. And as soon as the ball is not on the paddle, then it starts moving. That's why we didn't need the other variable for is playing. I'm going to move the mouse using the paddle. Sorry, I'm going to move the paddle using the mouse rather than the keys. When you run out of lives, it returns false, which means you've lost. This checks to see if you win. If there's any block on the screen, it's false. Okay? If you win, then it will return true. If you haven't won, you're going to keep playing. This was how we were checking using this isVisible variable inside the blocks object. But instead of that, I said the other way of getting rid of the blocks is just move them so that their position is negative, which means that they are somewhere up off the top of the screen. You can also quit the game by pressing a Q, and the rest of this is all exactly the same. The ball class has this thing, it grabs the paddle, you pass the paddle, which is a rectangle, and it puts the ball on the paddle. Nothing new there. So let's look at the block class. We just have one type of block, and what we want to do here is make more than one type of block. And like I said, we got rid of this, we don't need that anymore. I was thinking that we could maybe have different subclasses of block and make objects, different objects, but the blocks don't do anything. They just sit there and have different properties. So they're not moving at different speeds, they're not different sizes. There's really no reason to make a whole lot of different block objects. What I'm going to do instead is have something called something that is going to tell me what type the block is. And I'm making it private because I don't want anybody to change the block type. So once it's set in this program, the main program cannot change it anymore. So let me just type in some stuff here. So I'm using a bunch of integers to be different things. The default type is going to be normal. And the other types, we're going to make something unbreakable. Oops. You can make a certain block, make the paddle bigger. The numbers that you use here can be any numbers you want, as long as you don't make two of them the same. So you can do a bunch of stuff like this. What I want to do is I want each ball to have its own color as well. Each paddle, sorry, I'm getting kind of confused. I want each type of block to have its own color as well. So what this is an array called type colors. And it's static because I only want one copy of it. Each block is not going to have its own copy, just like each block is going to have the same width and the same height. This one is not static, which means that every single block can be different. Okay, let me type some colors in here. Okay, so I've typed in some colors into this array. I've made my own color for color 0, that's color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4, color 5, color 6. The reason that these are going to be 0, 1 through 6 is that those are sequential numbers in the array. So I can set my block color, instead of saying new color here, I can say it is type colors. Okay, so that'll be the default color. Now, the static variables are made first. So even though this line is above that line, it's going to make all the static variables first, and then it's going to come up here and make the instance variables when the constructor is run. But I'm just going to move this down here anyway. I could make it private, but I don't think I will. So since the type is private, I need something called setType. So I'm setting the type of the block, and I'm setting the color of the block as well. And then to find out what the type is, that will tell us the type. So that is our new block class. If we go to the BrickBreaker class, we want to actually create some blocks. Now, this is going to give us an error because I made it private. Okay, so we can't just set the type to be something because that would set the type without setting the color. I want the type and the color to be set at the same time. So I made it private, and that means that these things will now work. Okay, so a big paddle, unbreakable, sticky. We're going to have to try and get, well, let me just run this right now, see what happens. Okay, so these are the different things. That is the sticky block. I think the yellow one is the unbreakable one. These are the normal ones. The dark gray one is the big paddle. I'm going to move the dark gray one down a bit. Let's make that 19. Okay, well, it moved down a bit more. I'll make it a larger number, 29. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can get these things working. And how we're going to do that is we have to check when you hit the block what happens when we break the bricks. So this is where the ball hits the paddle. And okay, here's where it hits the brick. First of all, let's see. Instead of this, I'm going to run a method called BrickBreaker. So this is going to break whichever brick number I is, and then the ball will bounce off of it. So no matter what type of brick we have, the ball is still going to bounce off. And I'm now going to write a method somewhere down here, about breaking the brick. Okay, so if you say you hit brick number 5, so this, we check every single brick. Does the ball hit any of the bricks? If it does, let's try break that brick. So brick number 5, 5 comes down here, that's block number 5. Grab block number 5, find out what type it is, and then depending on the type, we're going to do something. I'm going to just type in this stuff quickly. So normal block we'll deal with later. Unbreakable block we're going to return and do nothing. The big paddle let's make it wider. What was the other one we had? Oh, I can check here, slow ball. So the slow ball will be tricky because it depends if the ball is moving up or moving downwards, which also depends which side of the brick you're hitting. Okay, because you can hit from the top of the brick as well. So if ball dot, what do I call my speed? Okay, in this program I'm calling it y speed. So if the speed is positive, we're going to slow it down. Otherwise, no, I'm only changing the y speed direction. I'm not going to affect the x speed direction. And then the last one is the sticky block one. The sticky block one means it's going to jump onto your paddle and stay there. I think we need to first have a short sleep thing, just so we know what's happening. And then that will stick onto the paddle. And that is the end of our switch statement. And then we need to move the block off the screen. So the unbreakable block does not get moved off the screen because there's a return there, so it jumps back up here and bounces the ball. Everything else will come down, and when it hits the block, it moves off the screen. So the only thing we need to do is to see if you win. Let's see. If the block is on the screen still, and so if there's a block still on the screen and the block is not unbreakable, that means there's still a block that you need to hit, and so you've not won yet. Okay? If all of the blocks are either off the screen or unbreakable, then you've won. Let's see how this works. Okay, let's do a regular bounce. Oh, I guess that was a sticky block. I'm going to just try this again and try not to hit the sticky block. Okay, good. So that's the sticky block. It would be nice also to have like power-ups that are falling down, but whatever. Okay, I have this so that every time the ball hits the top of the screen, it goes faster, which is a problem. Okay, that's the unbreakable block. That's working just fine. Okay, did I get a bigger paddle? I might have gotten a bigger paddle. I just want to try this. Let's make this 36. And let's also make this 35. And let's make my paddle get a lot bigger. I just want to make sure that this actually works. Okay, well, it did get bigger, and it should get even bigger soon. Anyway, so this is the brick breaking game, and you can pretty much see how it works. A couple of other things I need to do. Make some of these things random, so I can just randomly place them, and then fix up this thing where it says game over, you lost, but it doesn't clear the screen ahead of time. Okay, thank you. Hopefully that was helpful and not too fast.